right, welcome back to One Bar and Lupagus Show. I am Lupagus with this week's, what's always the most popular video of the week, is the Fantasy Focus, where we look at the Vikings and the Bears and say, who is worth a fantasy football play this week. Um, yeah, we're going to squeak this one in before the games start, but obviously this is a Monday night game and you got the afternoon game, so maybe there's still a lot of time to tweak your lineups. Really, from a fantasy perspective, this game might be a major dud. On the Vikings side of things, screw it. Let's go with the Bears first. Obviously you look at the receivers, Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney. These guys going against the Vikings corners looks like a juicy matchup on paper. A couple things to factor in here that may not make it so tender is that the Bears are pretty much going with an entire backup offensive line. Even with the Vikings D line, it has been improving lately. They should be able to get a ton of pressure on Nick Foles, make that ball come out earlier than it has to. That will have a trickle-down positive effect on the Vikings' back end of their defense. So, again, folks may not have the time to find the open receivers, and that's going to help the cornerbacks out. So, when you look at this game, when you look at Allen Robinson versus a Jeff Gladney versus a Cam Dancer versus a Chris Boyd, that looks like points up the ass, but it may not be as good as you think because of that horrible O-line the Bears is putting on the field tomorrow night. Let's see. David Montgomery's not even playing. I don't know if Cordell Patterson's going to be getting the Bears carries. Who knows? Who the hell will be getting the touches back there? Nick Foles, again, he's been really cold lately. If he is going to get right, this is the defense to do it against. But again, playing behind a patchwork O-line could definitely put a damper on that. So if you have the Bears defense, play them. They historically have been great against the Minnesota Vikings, especially in recent games. And also, if you have Cairo Santos, you hate to say that the two must-starts from a game is going to be the kicker and the defense, but that's definitely the case here. Flip over to the Vikings side of things. Delvin Cook, I don't expect him to have 150 yards, 3 touchdowns against the Bears. This is definitely going to be the toughest task he's faced this year as far as the defensive front seven goes. He'll probably get a touchdown, maybe 2, but it's going to be that yardage total that's going to take a major hit for him. Last 3 games, he's had like 12 and 36 and 37 yards or something rushing. Very low totals when he faces the Bears. Vikings O-line is playing better. That definitely favors him having a better game, or at least his best career game against the Bears this Monday. But again, don't get your hopes high that he's going to be doing anything like he's done in recent weeks. Moving on, Kirk Cousins, he's just not done well against the Bears. I think the last time he faced them, he didn't have any interceptions, but he was sacked like 6 times. He only threw for $130. Usually he's throwing a couple interceptions, taking a lot of hits, fumbling the football. So very cautious play if you have to start Kirk Cousins. Do it with big old safety gloves on, oven mitts or whatever. Handle him with care. Don't expect a whole hell of a lot. If anything, and he does stay clean, does stay upright, he's going to be probably doing that game manager type role. Hitting the open man and move the chains, maybe getting a couple scores inside the red zone, but nothing too pants-droppingly good. I think the guy you want to watch for is Justin Jefferson here to have the best game on the Vikings offense. Going against Buster Screen in the slot, that is a big-time mismatch. Bears are going to come in this thing focused on shutting Delvin Cook down. That could create some opportunities for Justin Jefferson. And he has, been a little bit cold the last couple of games, not put up huge numbers. He hasn't had a big game since, I believe it was against maybe the Falcons game 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, whatever the hell it was. Justin Jefferson is due, has a good matchup. He's probably your best play as far as a Vikings receiver goes, or even offensive player this week. And again, if you have Dan Bailey, this could be a game where field goals are the way the points are scored. He has a chance in this game to get 3 to 4 field goals. So Dan Bailey could be a sneaky good play for the Minnesota Vikings. So that's it. That is your fantasy focus as you look at the Chicago Bears versus the Minnesota Vikings. Not a sexy game as far as points going up, as far as fantasy perspective, but hopefully it's going to be a damn good one with the Vikings coming out on top. Until then, guys, always keep your skull in your hole.